Juneteenth. It's an historic date for the African-American community, celebrating June 19th of 1865, a date when slaves in Galveston were officially notified the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed and that they were no longer slaves. 7 years later, a group of those freed slaves founded the first public park in Houston. It was a significant accomplishment then, and the newly renovated park is similarly an accomplishment worth celebrating now. State Representative Garnett Coleman's District 147 includes the 3rd Ward and Emancipation Park. He joins me now this morning. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. It's great to be here.
Hey, what do you tell people is the significance of Emancipation Park and what it means to this city? It is certainly has an historic legacy.
Well, of course it does, but it also has the legacy of black people can do things if they want to do it. And we have our own resources, and we raised, the black people at that time raised the resources to buy the land. Mm-hmm. That land was, $800 was expensive in those days. So I think that's extremely important. What's also important is that we marked our freedom and that we marked it.
Right.
So I think the historical significance, it cuts a lot of different ways, is that one, we said that we needed a place that we could celebrate the law, our freedom
right.
in perpetuity.
And there was at that time, clearly, there were no parks that black people could go to.
Oh, right. I tell people all the time, my grandmama paid taxes and she couldn't go to the park she paid taxes for.
Right. So that whole challenge now is there. It's there as a reflection of what was the past. Now going forward, the rededication of that park, mm-hmm. newly renovated, the energy from a lot of people, a lot of groups came together to make that happen. Over the course of time, what does it say about that kind of collaborative effort to make sure that this gets done?
I think that's really important, but there's something that people really don't know. That the OST Alameda Tours, which is run by African Americans, they paid for the park. Mm-hmm. There wasn't the collaboration that people think there was. They put up the $30 million. And so that is what the change is, that we have more, as African Americans, more influence on things and money than we've ever had.
And TERS is initials for?
That's right, TERS. It's the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone. The chair is Annetta Burney. Mm-hmm. So this was a Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone project.
And I saw her standing with pride at the rededication day, and as well she should have been, as well as the location of that park is Emancipation Avenue,
yes.
which should not be overlooked as an address that now has been changed from what was Dowling. Now talk about the involvement and how that changed.
So in Charleston, South Carolina, 9 people were shot in a church, dead. And all around the country, actions were taken to indicate that this has got to stop and we have to take down these Confederate markings. In South Carolina, they took the Confederate flag down. Right now in New Orleans, they're removing Confederate statues. Our actions were changing the names of schools that were named after Confederate heroes and changing the name of the street we call Dowling, which was named for a Confederate officer, mm-hmm. and changing it to Emancipation Avenue. This is really important because this is our taking down the statues. So I think that that's very, very significant. No, we didn't name it for a person. That's why we named it Emancipation Avenue. The story is that in 1892, that street was named East Broadway. The Houston City Council in 1892 changed the name to Dick Dowling to run through the black neighborhood, and that street was the Black Wall Street. And they purposely poked the finger in the eye of the black community by putting up Confederate memorabilia, statues, and the like all around Houston. So this is extremely significant in that regard because we righted a wrong.
How do you think that Emancipation Avenue and Emancipation Park, the newly renovated park, how do you think it will impact the economic vibrancy of that area? Because that is your area.
That's right. But we have to be careful how we impact that. Because the reality is gentrification is extremely a challenging thing. But I've been working on a project where we've had Midtown Redevelopment Authority buy land all in there to stop gentrification. So when people say, well, how do you maintain it? We've already done things to do that. Mm-hmm. We also have to make sure that if it's economic revitalization, using those tools, that it's economic revitalization for the people, the black people who live in the neighborhood, and that they aren't pushed out. So these are the types of things that become real important. So you get the economic benefit, but at the same time, if we don't get the benefit from it, then why do we do it?
Right. Coming up, I want to take a minute and a half left here. A special session coming up. You expected that? I don't know if you expected it.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I expected it. I thought we would have one in December, before we went in session.
Okay. What do you expect to come out of this? Anything that you look forward to trying to shape going?
Well, there are two things. One, we need to pass the sunset bills that failed during the regular session. That is the most important item. What I'm interested in is the maternal mortality task force and those things, because black women have suffered the most when it comes to deaths of at childbirth or after childbirth. Right. So that's really important. Most of the things on that agenda I'm against. It's very clearly, I'm against them. And the reason they're on that agenda, they were bad bills that were killed in the regular session.
You know, the governor has got an aggressive approach going into this special session to take care of those bills. So you have a fight ahead.
Well, but we won this last time. See, what people forget is those bills wouldn't be there if we hadn't killed them, and we can kill them again.
All right, well, we'll see what happens here. Representative Coleman, it's always good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
And congratulations on what's been happening in your district. Good luck and what's going on in the 3rd Ward and your 147.
And more to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.